Yo, it's ZBeefyGamr here, and for this video, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know about Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. Before I start this video, I'd just like to say that you might already know some of the things I'll be talking about. I've also already covered some of the topics I'll be discussing, but I still think that there is information in this video that you need to know about Death of the Outsider if you're going to play it. So I'm going to leave timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead. Alright, first, I'm going to just go over what Death of the Outsider is at its core. So Death of the Outsider, it is not Dishonored 2 DLC. It is its own standalone game, but it is not as big as a normal Dishonored game, which is why it comes at half the price of one. Next up, I'm going to be talking about the story. The first thing you should know is that the protagonist is Billy Lurk from the Dishonored 1 DLC, or Megan Foster from Dishonored 2. It's the same person, she just changed her name, so they're the same person. And another thing you should know is that Dowd, the fabled Knife of Dunwall, he makes a return, but he's not playable. You can't play as him, you can only play as Billy Lurk. The game takes place primarily in Karnaca, which is also where Dishonored 2 took place. There's also another location that hasn't yet been revealed by Arcane Studios. We're also going to be revisiting some old locations we've already seen in Karnaca, and we're going to witness how they've changed. We're also going to see some new locations in Karnaca. Another thing I wanted to clear up is that the protagonist Billy Lurk, she is not marked by the Outsider. Normally in Dishonored games, the protagonist gets a mark from this supernatural entity called the Outsider. He marks them and they basically gain the ability to use these powers. But Billy Lurk, she gets her powers from another way. She gets her powers from artifacts from the Dishonored world. For example, her eye that she has is called the Eye of the Dead God. Her arm is made from pieces of the Void, and her sword is actually the sword that made the Outsider. Some of the new enemies include the Immortal Envisioned. We're going to see a return of the Clockwork Soldiers, and we're going to finally meet the Sisters of the Oracular Order. The religious cult in the Dishonored universe called the Abbey of the Everyman. They have this prophetic arm called the Sisters of the Oracular Order, and they've only ever been hinted at in Dishonored 1 and 2. We haven't ever actually seen them, so we're gonna finally get to meet them in this game. Next up, I'm gonna be talking about powers and gadgets. The first new power that Billy Lurk has is called Displace, and the way it works is that you essentially leave a marker in the world, and later on you can teleport to it. This is Billy Lurk's mobility power. Just like Corvo and Dowd had Blink, Emily had Far Reach, Billy Lurk has Displace. The second power is called Void Strike, and this is where Billy charges up her sword to deliver a very powerful attack. If you're crowded, you can use it to get some breathing room. It's a pretty useful ability. The next power is called Semblance, and the way it works is that you steal somebody's identity. This is similar to Corvo's possession power, but Semblance is better because it can do more things than possession can. For example, you could trick an enemy into opening a door, or you could even trick one enemy into fighting another. Semblance is basically Corvo's possession on steroids. Another power Billy has at her disposal is called Foresight, and this is where she pauses time and then she leaves her body and she can like have a look around at the area. She can kind of move through it, I guess. And in Foresight, you can place displace markers so you can teleport to them later, or you could even mark objects of interest to follow them. There are 3 new gadgets in Death of the Outsider. First is called the Voltaic Gun, and it's basically an electrified projectile launcher that's attached to Billy's wrist. It can be upgraded through the black market, and it probably has the usual crossbow dart stuff like sleep darts, normal crossbow darts, incendiary bolts. Probably also has the option to use it as a pistol. It's a heavily upgraded version of Dowd's wrist crossbow. The next gadget is called Rat Whispers. This is a talisman that Billy has. It essentially allows Billy to listen to rats' secrets. It kind of works like the heart in Dishonored 1 or 2, where you can learn a little bit of extra lore about the world or about the people in it. But the Rat Whispers talisman also has a unique side to it, because the rats could provide you useful information that could help you reach a key assassination target or help you to find a way past a locked door. The third and last gadget is called the Hook Mine. This is a really cool device. It kind of works like the Stun Mine or the Spring Razor, where you can place it on the floor or on a wall. But what's cool about the Hook Mine is you can also throw it, as you can see over here. And basically the way it works is it pulls an enemy to it and it just anchors them there. This is the non-lethal way to use it. It won't kill them if you just use one, but if you place multiple, it'll literally rip an enemy apart. Last but not least, I'm going to be talking about some of the gameplay mechanics we'll see in Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. The game basically has the exact same mechanics as Dishonored 2. There's a chaos system where the more people you kill, the more darker the world around you becomes, and you can still play through the whole game without killing a single person or without being spotted at all. The main thing I wanted to talk about is a new mechanic introduced into Death of the Outsider called contracts. So you find these contracts in missions, and they're usually at the black market. They're basically in-mission side quests that you get paid for. For example, we have one from the game which is called Kidnap the Bartender. So there's basically a bartender who's made some enemies, and one of the enemies wants him to disappear for a little while. So in this particular contract, all you have to do as a player is kidnap the bartender from the busy club he's in and then deposit him while he's still alive in a crate that's sitting on top of a roof. Judging from this contract, I'd say that there are going to be some contracts that are non-lethal and some that are going to be lethal. In other words, in some contracts you'll have to kill the target. Unlike missions, you actually have the option to fail these contracts, so you better keep your wits about you if you're planning on completing a contract. So that's it. That's everything you need to know about Death of the Outsider. Thanks for watching and goodbye!